Welcome, my fellow weeaboos, Godzilla and Kong fans. I am the Weeaboo Warrior, coming back to you again with another Godzilla and Kong Strength and Power tier list. So, with the release of the new movie, of course I had to make another one while the hype is high. So, multiple things besides the movie have actually come out, but first I want to talk about a few things that I've actually added. As you can see on the screen here, this is my original list from my last video, but there are a few additions here that some of the things I did talk about in the last video, but one thing I didn't. Let's see, this kaiju Na Kika, this one right here. It doesn't really do anything, it just gets saved by Godzilla. It was trapped in a net, but it's really big. It's like one of the biggest ones, so it goes by Behemoth. Doesn't do anything, but it's big. Okay, the Queen Muto, I don't remember if I talked about this one, but by its name, Queen Muto, it's probably above the other two Mutos. And Methuselah, this huge one. Besides it being arguably like the biggest kaiju of them all, in the Godzilla and Kong opening, there's like a bracket showing which kaiju have fought and defeated other ones, and it showed Methuselah defeated Scylla, or I don't know how you pronounce it. It's Scylla, Skyla, Skila. I don't know. I'm going to call it Scylla. So Methuselah apparently beat Scylla and beat the Queen Muto. So it goes above them, but that's all the scaling it has. So that's where it goes, because that's all we have to go off of. I added, this is base Kong with no weapons, which was around Kamazot's. So he goes right there. A tier below Kong with the weapon. Because Kong without a weapon really doesn't stand a chance against Godzilla or the other big boys. I added Dagon, which I talked about, which lost to Muto Prime. This is Godzilla from the 2014 movie, which was about on par with Muto Prime, but did win. And this is Godzilla from King of the Monsters, base Godzilla before getting amped, which was kind of on the losing end of in the fights with Ghidorah. I did talk about how there is evidence for Godzilla being able to win, but for you Ghidorah fans, I put Godzilla, this version below, just to make you happy. And here's Godzilla from Godzilla vs. Kong, and I think this is also like the beginning of Godzilla, Kong New Empire. This is around where he goes in his base, probably right above Ghidorah. And Mechagodzilla, there is some evidence that he could be below Ghidorah and Godzilla, full power Godzilla. There's like multiple statements that it could go either way. The designer of Mechagodzilla apparently even said he would probably lose, but he also said that his statements aren't official, and what we have to go off is Mechagodzilla did win, so maybe he would go below, but like I said in my original video, I'm keeping him at the top for now, and gotta add some new ones first. And I think that's all the ones I had to talk about that I didn't mention before. Yeah. So also this guy, the crazy guy, I talked about him in the first list, but his picture wasn't on there for some reason. I don't remember why. So let's talk about the new stuff. There is one new comic that was the Godzilla Kong New Empire prequel comic. This thing is called well, let's talk about this thing first. This is the, what was it called? Like the Titan Hunter? Yeah, the Titan Hunter, which he defeated a Warbat, but it was from behind. This guy likes the cheap shot, so it's probably in that tier, and it gave Kong a bit of a fight, got him in a good grip and hit him, but it lost pretty quickly. It doesn't really stand a chance against Kong. And this thing, which was the Spine Prowler, that's a cool name, and I believe it would go, where did I, yeah, right in this tier, because it gave that thing a little bit of a fight. It also fought Kong at the beginning, but didn't stand a chance, so it's got to be a tier below both of them at least. And also another thing I would like to do is I'm going to need to add another tier. Let's add a blue. Because something's come to my attention. Basically, Kong from Skull Island is about the same size, if not shorter, than the baby Kong from the new movie. What was his name? Zuko. This is really weird because Kong from Skull Island looks much older, but apparently he might even be smaller. So I'm gonna call this the Little Kong tier. So yeah, he still beats everything in this tier. Oh, actually, I gotta mention this, Doug. Doug is actually really big. We saw he even made Kong struggle a little bit in the tug of war. So Doug's gotta go up here above Kong from Skull Island. So yeah, we got Kong from Skull Island, Zuko, and then the devil, the big one, Skullcrawler. So that, I mean, Zuko doesn't really do anything besides get used as nunchucks for Kong, which is a really good durability feat. But yeah, I don't think he has the combat skill to beat these two. So, I mean, we could continue with the movie characters because I know a lot of you probably want to see that first. So let's go to the Wart Dog, I believe that's what it's called. Yep. These things were pretty much fodder to Kong, but they're still decently big, so they would probably be a big threat to Skull Island Kong. And I'm putting Zuko above them because Zuko, like I said, was able to tank being used as nunchucks for Kong, while these things were just torn apart by Kong. So Zuko seems more durable than them. And Doug seemingly eats them, or at least likes to eat their carcasses, but Doug's much bigger, so I think it makes sense for them to be able to tier below Doug as well. So next one from the movies, the Verticines. These things are pretty small, but they pack quite a punch with their bioelectricity, which like hits with like the strike the force of a lightning or whatever, powerful as lightning. So they'll go right next to the other ones that shoot lightning. So they could annoy some of the bigger ones, but by themselves, they're really not much. So this picture was from the comics, which is Kong's parents, but I'm just going to use it in general as the standard adult Kongs. And they were pretty pathetic. They should be probably around here, or maybe even in the tier below, honestly, because they do not stand a chance against Kong. But I'm going to actually add a tier above and call it the Queen tier. So I'm going to put Base Kong, Camazotz, Mothra, and Rodan up here. And the reason I'm doing that is because Tiamat, which fought Godzilla in the new movie, did quite a bit worse than Kong and the Scar King, I believe. So I think they should probably go a tier above these ones, and it would also make sense with Kong easily being able to defeat the other adult Kongs, even when they gang up on him. So I think Kong and also Scar King also has to be a tier above these guys. Scar King, with his weapon, was about on par with Kong. Kong actually got the edge on him by throwing him off. Kong was just bigger and stronger in every way. This guy's pretty skilled, though, and his weapon's really dangerous, but Kong still goes above him. His weapon, though, might actually give him a better shot against Camazotz, because with its flying, his ranged weapon will be really good at grabbing him down, and that thing was giving Kong some trouble. So you could put Camazotz, like I said before, above Base Kong, but I'll keep him below. We got the Drowning Viper, I believe it's what it's called. Yeah, the Drown Viper. That thing gave Kong some issues, but did lose off screen pretty quickly. I consider it about as dangerous as the Warbat, because that almost got Kong as well in Godzilla vs. Kong. So those two are probably around the similar level. Now, Kong got a power-up in this movie. He got the Power Glove. I believe it's called the Beast Glove. So this was for fighting characters on par with Mechagodzilla, get him ready for threats on that level, so he has to be on this tier. And we saw that he beat up a evolved Godzilla for a little bit. So I think he would go here, because he could take on Godzilla physically, but had to run from the breath and end up losing because of that. And Godzilla from the 2014 movie's breath was pretty pathetic. Now, that could be because the Mutos were dampening his breath, but if that's not the case, Kong would definitely win, because the breath is not going to take out Kong easily, and Kong would just keep smashing him with the fist. And this version of Godzilla is also just physically smaller than all the other ones by quite a good amount. So Kong just probably beats him up. And his only chance is if his breath is way powerful because the Mutos aren't there. And only two more remaining for the movie. The new kaiju, Shimo. So there are statements from the novel that state Shimo is pretty much like the ultimate kaiju, and possibly is the one that froze King Ghidorah. So I think Shimo has to be at least the top of King. Kong also says Shimo is stronger than Godzilla. The strongest, like Godzilla was the strongest he's ever fought before, but now Shimo's the strongest he's ever fought, and that was stated in the novel. So Shimo also goes above base Godzilla, and that statement's actually after the fight with evolved Godzilla. So evolved Godzilla would actually go below Shimo at first, but evolved Godzilla later on in the movie and in the novel it states is when he starts to glow, like his whole body starts to glow, he gets supercharged, and then the fight's like could go either way. But at the end when Godzilla shoots its beam in the sky, everyone's in awe, including Shimo, so I believe Godzilla at full power is above Shimo. And another thing in the movie to note is that it states Godzilla's energy capacity became 20 times greater. And now, I don't think you should get that confused with 20 times more powerful, because 20 times more powerful would mean like the blast hitting you, every amount, it's like the potency went up by 20 times or could destroy something 20 times more durable. I don't think that's automatically the case. It just means he could fire his beam 20 times longer because he has more energy capacity. Maybe he could also, if he like intensify the beam to the point where it is 20 times stronger, and he also just fatigues at a similar rate, but it isn't really made clear. I think it is more powerful potency wise and he could do it longer, but we don't know exactly how much more powerful the beam would be, especially since almost everyone dodges it. Kong dodges it, Scar King dodges it, because pretty much it would kill them if it landed directly. It did hit Shimo directly, and Shimo was actually pretty much fine after that, so either Shimo's really powerful and really durable, or the beam isn't that much more powerful than it already was. The novel does state the beam is more powerful than it ever was before, so it's at least stronger than before. And there's actually a statement saying Godzilla's energy reading is higher than ever before as well, higher than ever recorded, so that could actually put evolved Godzilla above Burning Godzilla. But again, I think Burning Godzilla might be releasing its power at a quicker rate, and because we never see something like anyone getting disintegrated instantly. Like Burning Godzilla was just disintegrating Ghidorah's heads right off, and I don't think Godzilla could do that. I don't think its potency is that high, but Burning Godzilla kind of was like, its candle burned brighter, but it like went out quicker.
Your candle may have been brighter, but it was burning a lot faster too. It's over now, and I've won.
So maybe Burning Godzilla could outlast, or Evolved Godzilla, the Pink Godzilla, or Godzilla Rosé could outlast Burning Godzilla and win, or it could just win from shooting its beam from a distance. I'm not actually sure how the nuclear waves would affect Godzilla, because that's kind of like Godzilla's thing, and Godzilla was the one releasing the energy. So I'm not even sure if those could kill Godzilla, especially this powered up Godzilla. So Godzilla Evolution might actually be just a good match against Burning Godzilla and might just win. But I think Burning Godzilla would be a better match against pretty much everyone else, because like Kong got the better Evo Godzilla, the Pink Godzilla, in their first fight initially before Godzilla started using his breath. And I think he would just instantly die to Burning Godzilla. He would just burn away like Ghidorah, probably faster. So yeah, I think against anyone else, Evolved Godzilla goes below Burning Godzilla, but at matchup-wise, Evolved Godzilla might actually beat Burning Godzilla. But I'm gonna keep him in this tier just because Kong shows he could compete with Godzilla. Evolved Godzilla in the movie, Scar King was able to keep dodging his attacks. Shimo, their fight was inconclusive. So I think those two go either way. You could actually even put a tier in between them, or you could either have both of them here, both of them above, or a tier in between them in these two tiers and put these two there. But I'm just gonna keep them here for now because I don't think we have enough information. We just know these two will beat everyone below. I think Shimo will just freeze up Mechagodzilla and destroy him. Evolved Godzilla, or like I said before, I think Shimo would beat Ghidorah most likely because of the statements, just freeze him. Godzilla kept amping himself up and getting more and more power-ups to prepare for Shimo. So yeah, these two go above everyone else and maybe could go up here or above Burning Godzilla. But I don't think they have the feats to prove it, and I don't think the statements are conclusive enough to know exactly how a fight would go down. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the movie, what I wanted to talk about, except I do want to note how Shimo ended up somehow getting captured by Scar King, while Godzilla in the past, like, well, he almost lost. He pretty much like soloed the entire monkey clan and got them trapped down there in Hollow Earth. So Godzilla's way above the other apes. But Shimo somehow got captured, but maybe that's because Scar King just got lucky and found that little crystal thing that controls Shimo. But yeah, Shimo easily froze Scar King when he lost that, so yeah, definitely a tier above Scar King. And so let's talk about the shows now. So we could talk about Monarch next. So this is the Endoswarm, I believe it's called. Endoswarmer, yeah. So these things by themselves, they're smaller than humans. They would go below, and in groups they were able to take someone down into a pit and didn't even kill her. So they're pathetic. But they grow into these endopedes, which are much bigger and scarier and would easily eat a person. They kind of similar size, maybe bigger, more teeth than forgot what these things are called, but yeah, so they go around here. You know, that just looks like a giant log with teeth, which funnily enough, there is a tree that eats people in the new movie, which I didn't put that on here, but I guess that would go around this tier, being able to eat humans. I don't know, but okay, next let's talk about this with the bramble boar. Yeah, that is what it's called, and this thing, pretty weak. I'll just put it above this little rock critter thing because it does nothing. So the bramble boar was about to kill someone, but it was shot by an arrow and ran away, so they're not too tough. And the mantle claw was about even. It had like a stalemate with the long leg spider, whatever they're called, those big statty long legs things. And so yeah, right there. And the frost vark, which is pretty big, but has the power to suck people's heat away, the heat from anything really, and which freezes them to death. So I'll put it right here because I think it's about the size of an average skull crawler, but it has that heat-sucking ability. So I think it probably has the advantage over most of them. And then the biggest one in Legends of Monarch was the Ion Dragon. And this thing actually gave Godzilla a bit of a fight. It was 2014 Godzilla, well, 2015 Godzilla, so it's closer to 2014 than the others. So it's a weaker version of Godzilla, and the only time it actually really did anything was catching him off guard. So I think it's probably somewhere around Muto level. It kind of reminded me of the male Muto with how it did, but it kind of did worse. So probably below them. And now let's talk about the cartoon Skull Island, which I didn't even realize was a thing until today, and then I just quickly watched it all to find the scaling for it and get all the characters. And so let's talk about that. The grass hedgehog fodder doesn't do anything, it's a pacifist. Aloe turtle doesn't do anything either, it doesn't really attack anybody. The dodo is aggressive, but two guys thought they could maybe handle it, but they probably wouldn't have. So it probably goes above the little leaf wings, but below whatever those things are, forgot. But those things would probably eat them up. Then we got Night Boy, interesting name. They are also around here. They're predators that would probably kill those things. They're about human level though. If someone with a stick knocked it away. This thing's like a giant Venus flytrap thing that could eat a person, but they don't move and they could be chopped up with swords. So they also go around here. They could probably eat one of these things. And let's talk about the trapdoor crab. These things are above human level, but stabbing them didn't really fend them off very easily. So they're more tough than the bramble boars. But the ants, the giant ants, weren't even broken. Its armor wasn't even broken by a sword, so they were more tough than the crab, which a spear cracked its claw. And then the centipede. It didn't do anything. It was gonna probably kill someone, but it got, then it ran away, but probably, centipedes are usually stronger than ants, so I'm gonna put the centipede above. And this thing was a rock bug. Yeah, the rock bug, it tanked gunfire, and like they move surprisingly fast too, and it killed a guy. So I'll put that above. And then the crocodile. Crocodiles are more dangerous than centipedes. I'll probably put it there, but they could be anywhere around here. Okay, now these things, the chameleons, these things actually gave Kong a fight. So, and this Kong, I think the show takes place, it's supposed to take place in the 90s, so Kong's much bigger than, so here, this is him right here. So he's probably up a tier, but he's still not where he is as an adult. And I still don't think he's in the big tier yet, but he could be. But he's somewhere either here or like at the bottom here. So these things that could give him trouble would be in this tier. But he was taking on multiple at once. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna put him down a tier because I think the skull crawlers are supposed to be the deadliest thing on Skull Island, so I think they'll go below most of them. So, but maybe they could be up here. But like I said, it was multiple at once, so they could be here or here. But I don't think they would one-on-one be able to take Kong even from Skull Island. Kong was the king of the island the whole time. So yeah, I think this tier makes more sense. And then this bird, which was like Kong's helper, goes above them. It was able to lift one of these chameleons up and dropped it, which ended up resulting in its death. So yeah, the bird goes above. And then let's talk about these two. So Annie was one of the human characters in the show, one of the most prevalent ones. She's tough and knows what she's doing. She could probably take a leaf wing and maybe this bird, but she played dead to get her dog to kill the bird, and the dog goes up here, probably around here. It's pretty big. It would kill these things, I think. I don't know about this thing, but I would say it loses to these two. They're too big. I think, was it the mother long legs and then the mantle claw? So yeah, below them, maybe below this thing, somewhere in this tier. It defeats the ant, I believe. I think it kills the ant, or it scares it off. Yeah, it scares off the ant and it could kill these things. And then the last thing from the show is the Kraken, which was really big and gave Kong a really good fight. It almost killed him. So that thing's gonna go up here with Kong in this tier. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to talk about. We're done. So let me know what you guys think. Some of these things could be contentious. I'm not saying this is the absolute perfect list. I will scrutinize everything more carefully when I do my final list, when the monsterverse is completely done. I mean, as movies keep coming out, I'll keep doing updated lists like this. And when the list is, when the series is completely finished, when the monsterverse is done, I'll look through everything and make sure everything is perfect and make the ultimate monsterverse tier list. But as of now, I did look through everything and I went through this list and I thought about, beforehand, I didn't just make this on the fly. I kind of thought about everything and put everything where I wanted to be, and then now I put it here. So I think this is decently accurate, but there could be things that are not perfect. So let me know what you guys think. If you find anything that I should change, let me know. Don't forget to subscribe if you liked it, and if you want to see more in the future. And give it a thumbs up, comment. It all helps me and helps the video do well. So I want to grow this channel and become a titan, a monster of a YouTuber. And I hope you subscribe.